Alright, I thought since I got a lot of people watching the paperclip chassis builds projects, I would show how I'm doing this and prove that it is. I've had a lot of questions about, is it really paperclips? And yes, it is. I'm using recycled paperclips from Walmart. I don't remember the price, but they're not too expensive. Big box. Got 2 boxes of them. Throw them together into one box. This is, I'll show, I've got some little pieces bent up here and cut up. This is one, just has, I've got 4 of these for the hooks. Plan on doing something with those. Non-disclosure right now. These are after the curves are all straightened out. And I'm about to show how I do this. Get it to this point and then to this point. As straight as I can get them. And it's going to be a lot of pecking sounds, so if that annoys you, mute it. If you don't like the video, whatever. It's just how I'm doing this. I've got needle nose pliers. You can use regular flat pliers, you can use needle nose pliers, it doesn't really matter. You can use your fingers if you can get the curves straight enough. The little bends here, which, if you've got really good strength in your fingers and strong fingernails, you can do it pretty good. I've actually used mine quite a bit, but I'll show you how I do it with the needle nose pliers. And this pair of needle nose pliers, I have notched them. Let me see if I can get this to focus. There's a tiny little notch right there. That one notch, these were flat needle nose pliers. That one notch is for when I'm bending really sharp curves, really sharp bends for the chassis. And they are also ground flat on one side. Flat on one side. Come on, focus. And left mostly curved on this side. That also helps give me different curvatures. So I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to go to straightening this, and my phone is sitting to the side of me, so I'm kind of leaning over so I can see what I'm doing too. Make sure I'm on camera. I basically chase the curve, little increments. Little increments, just little nips. It won't come out perfectly straight. There's going to be, and try and keep it straight with the needle nose, otherwise you end up with weird bends to the side, and you can go back over it and kind of flatten them down. And if you've got cutters on them, be really careful not to cut it. It makes a difference. But you can see I didn't chase it perfectly straight right here, and there's a slight curvature in this area, and I'll show you how I straighten that out. My best tools for this have been these 2 steel blocks. This was like a key for a cog or whatever. This one was just a solid block that I got. I used to work at a place and they had a scrap bin, and that was one of the, 100 pieces of stock that I got, scrap, that they were throwing out. I've got round ones, and this is the only big solid square that I've ever found out of the junk that I got out of that. So I'm going to use the end of this. This is my hammer for straightening. You can see the curve that I've got in this. I've got to straighten that to the point of this. And they're not perfect. They're not perfect. They don't have to be absolutely flawless. So you just lay it, hold it kind of tight, but not tight enough that you're bending it. lay it on there flat, and then you'll see I'm gonna pick my phone up real quick and then put it back. You see the curve, the bend in it. I've got to flatten that down, and it's just barely gonna show up on camera. Get this positioned. Alright. I just start pecking it on the end and go towards the now it's flat with the steel. A little more. Now it's not going to show up on your camera or on your angle until I turn it this way. There is still a bend going the other direction, so I've got to flip it, hold it kind of tight, peck that down, a little more right here. You're basically just bending out the bends. More on this side. I know my hand is casting a shadow over it too, so wonders of having a light above your work. A lot of people prefer a light off to the side or whatever. I prefer my light directly above what I'm working on. Old enough that I've learned to work around my own shadow. Some people just, whatever. To each their own. I have 6 other lights in my room on the ceiling, and I hardly ever use them. This one light in my room's just enough here. Now I've got that part is straight. About as straight as I'm going to get it right now. I could go a little bit more. You always want to hold it right here when you're working on a specific little area. Hold it towards the end. That helps keep it in position to where you can flatten it down. I also told myself I'm going to try and make this 5-minute video. I'm already at almost 8. These don't have to be used for the little RC chassis. You could use these for anything. I never realized. I've been doing hobby stuff for 30 years. More than 30 years. My first model kit, I was probably 7 years old or 8 years old, and my dad gave me a model car. And glued together a static model for, I don't even remember what it was. I'm sure it was an old AMT Reveller monogram. And I've got boxes and boxes of those now. I don't work on them much because I'm into the Orlandoos. I started out doing the Orlandoos to convert 125 scales, and I've got 2 that I was building. My Bronco, which is disassembled. It has a Bluetooth speaker and everything in it. The orange chassis, orange adjustable, works for it perfect. 125 scale Bronco. I painted it orange because it was my dad's favorite color, and I was building it for him. And he passed away right after I got it working, functional. And he said he was the drive behind he said the only thing it needed. I saw that it had working lights, it had forward rear steering, everything the Orlandoos come with, made engine sounds, and that just blew his mind. And he said the only thing it's missing is a radio playing music. Oh, and I dropped my little hammer thing. Back up. Ultra bright flashlight. I work this thing. But anyway, yeah, Dad said that the only thing it needed was a speaker playing music. So I tore it apart and started working on getting the speaker system figured out. Which was a whole new process. But anyway. And I've since tore that Bronco apart again. I actually used the aluminum axles. Well, I started it, I had plastic axles in it, and then I put the aluminum axles under it for a little bit, which are now in my Jeep, my green one, OH35801. Right now I'm bending it by finger because there's a slight curve that I know I can work out with my fingers. It's mostly straight. There's a little curve here. Some people won't want to spend the time to do this. I can understand it. And I know some people would get frustrated and give up. I absolutely love doing hobby stuff. 125 scale and smaller has always been my favorites. Mostly 125 scale model kits. And growing up, me and my brother always wanted to make RCs out of them. We never could find anything small enough. That was back in the 80s, so I'm old. And still, yeah. Sometimes little boys don't want to grow up. I absolutely love the hobby, the small stuff. A lot of grown people do this, so I don't really care what anybody says. It's not just boys and men, women and girls too. Alright, so that's how long it took me to straighten a paper clip. I know that's kind of redundant to say, but that's it. It doesn't take much, a little bit of effort. It's about as perfect as it's gonna get with this method, but this is how I've been doing it. And once again, I've got a whole stack here that I gotta straighten, and so far I've got 7 that are straightened, 4 that are partially straightened, and then some other pieces bent up that I was going to use on other chassis that I built and didn't use, and some little cut pieces. I've got more stuff over here. My brass tubing, I put all that away because I'm not going to use the brass tubing and rod on the next project. Let me move my little anvil, as I call it. Piece of glue, dry super glue. The next project is going to be right along with my stuff here. I started this one. It might be the perfect length for what I'm going to do. Should be a shorter truck than my F100. So the F100 fits this chassis just absolutely perfect in my opinion. Not flawless, but perfect enough that I'm going to go with it. And it will use the oddball transmission, which actually fits this little brushless motor, but there's no, I mean, it's a direct fit. I don't know, I mean, that's an extremely fast motor. I think it was like 14,000 kV or something like that. But this one, I don't know what motor I'm going to put in that yet. No, I've never figured that out. This chassis will be another Ford truck. I'm not going to say what it is. I've not found the exact one that I want, but I have found one that I'm going to order. and it's from the same guy that I got the crew cab from, which he's on eBay, One Man Garage. So, and I added a bar to the bottom of the windshield here, kind of keeps those together. So yeah, but anyway, that's where this is going to go, and I've marked it. It's red. I put red permanent marker here, green in the front, because this end to here, from the very front bar to here, is longer than from here to here. So this is going to be the back of the truck, this is going to be the front of the truck. So, and it is just a little shorter than this one. So that'll be another project. I have tires picked out for it already. Where's my camera? Tires picked out, a body picked out. Have not ordered them or purchased. So that's going to be another project. I have tons of more ideas for 132 scale projects based on just old model kits I've found online, resin kits, 3D printed kits, sets, whatever you want to call those, bodies. There's actually lots. I will be building these forever. And I could still do more brass chassis. I just wanted to show right now the process that I go through straightening a paper clip. And I've already shown how I solder them together. You can cut them, shape them, however you want. It's relatively simple. You can get pretty much whatever you want out of them. So there will be much more coming. Anyway, thanks for the views, thanks for the subscriptions, subscribers, comments, everything. I really appreciate it. I do this for, it's kind of a stress relief, it's kind of a hobby combination. I enjoy it, but things like straightening paper clips, stress relief, just, you know, sit here and annoy the crap out of myself pecking on paper clips. So I'm down to a little blob of solder. That's all I've got left. Oh, I did double bar this. The top is done. I don't know if I showed that yet. The top frame section is now 4 paper clips. So it's a little stiffer. It won't break at the ends where the bottom section come together this way. So yeah, and I mean, I'm trying to get them a little flatter, a little prettier. It ain't gonna be perfect. I don't strive for perfection too much. I'm satisfied with good. So, but anyway, like I said, I appreciate all the views, comments, subscriptions, everything, subscribers. I don't know what I should call you guys. Viewers. I've noticed some of my videos have gotten quite a few views, so very thankful. I don't get paid for this. I wish I could. It's fun to me. It's entertaining. The conversations in the comments section can get extensive. I enjoy that too. I like sharing ideas and hearing other people's ideas, reading other people's ideas, and yeah. Thanks again.